Hello and welcome to ATL Falcons UK pod or game review on what a win that was, boys. What a fucking win. Holy shit.
Not a whole lot of post-game good things to talk about this year, have we? This is something new.
Probably not, no. I think that's a good thing to happen this year.
It's been a good day today, I'll tell you.
How many cup of teas have you had?
Not many, actually. I think this is the first one for a couple of hours. But
Oh, God.
putting up a 40 burger against Las Vegas. Arsenal losing. Spurs grinding out a draw. Top of the table. What a day. What a day.
Great weekend. Man City winning the football, battering Burnley for the fourth time in a row, 5-0 at the Etihad. So that's great. Falcons winning. And the England cricket team won as well. Perfect.
You didn't mention the Wales loss, though, did you?
No. I intentionally left that out.
But 40 points, 40 odd points. It's insane. It's only conceded 6. Like, was it five turnovers overall?
Yeah.
And they're not a bad side. You're not on 6 wins. You're not like the Bears who are on 5 wins fucking randomly. But 6 wins, they're not a bad side at all. And fuck me, we just blew
They
them
come
away.
out to play today, didn't they?
Only team to beat the Chiefs as well.
The Raiders are not a bad team. I think either they just have one of those days that we as Falcons fans get to see 12, 13 times a year and it just everything falls on them, or it's one of those situations that they weren't expecting the Falcons to put up a fight. And when you look past any team in the NFL, even the Falcons can eat you up if you don't pay attention.
To be fair, I mean, for the first quarter, halfway through the second quarter, I just thought it was going to be a horrible, horrible game. It's just going to be field goal after field goal, field goal. And then I think the pick six really changed the whole dynamic of the game. And as soon as Dion's run into the end zone from there, I think their heads just massively dropped. We've just gained so much confidence from that and just taken them to town.
Yeah, at one point, my wife actually walked in midway through the second and said, "How's the game going?" And I'm like, "Eh." I'm like, "I'm not going to at this rate."
Just going back to last week's game. I've just looked at. Have you seen the stats from the Denver Saints game so far? When halfway through I think there's something like 5 minutes into the second quarter, and Saints are on -8 passing yards, and Denver are on 0 passing yards.
Yep.
I think excuse me, pass the ball 5 times in the air. Oh God! So it's gone down the wrong hole.
Absolutely crazy. I think Ito Smith got the last touchdown, was it? And
yeah,
I really like him. Like, he's not been used as much as Hill, but I think he's sort of gets in between a bit more compared to Hill, I think. But I think depending on what's going to happen next year with Gurley and that, I think I'm not saying he's going to be the number 1, but he's definitely. I think he should be at least number 2.
His problem is his concussions, though, isn't it? He's got 2 or 3 concussions last year. I think if he gets one more, I think he's going to be in serious trouble. Like you say, he's not going to be a number 1, and running back has got to be one of the positions we're looking at in the draft. Because I think it's 99% certain that Gurley's not going to be here next year. Brian Hill, I just don't think is the answer. I think, again, he's a good number 2. Number 3, we need to find someone from somewhere. I'd love to keep Gurley. I don't think we'll be able to.
How much do you think he'll want? Like, what's he on now? Is it 6 million? Obviously, I don't think he will stay because of what he will want, but is he looking? He's probably looking for that like one last big contract, because running backs obviously they're not as long as
discount though. I mean, he loves Georgia. Obviously his time at college, and he wanted to come to Atlanta. He wanted to play for Falcons. It's whether he'll take a hometown discount over someone else who'll be running back needy. Will be willing to pay. And again, it depends on whether the new head coach even wants to keep him.
I think
he's somewhere we're going to have to look at. It goes without saying.
I think with Gurley, I think he might come back because he's got the wide receivers will give him that space where the box isn't always crowded. Whereas other teams, he might get more in the box and stop him getting a roll on.
One thing to consider is that big running back contracts have tend to deteriorate quite badly. Look at David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, Gurley when he was with the Rams, Devontae Freeman when he was with us. I can see a scenario where he gets in between that 6 million to 8 million range, and that could see him stay with us potentially. I don't see him getting over 10 million. I really do not see that. So I don't think it's out of the question that he comes back. But even if he is willing to come back, I would just consider using the committee approach. Because I don't think a trio of Brian Hill, Ito Smith, and let's say we draft someone in the 4th round is a bad trio. I really don't.
I'm really confused why Brian Hill is so high on the depth chart this year anyway. Ito Smith's been the presumptive backup for the past couple of years. And then Brian Hill just steps in and starts getting carries. And honestly, it's never panned out. I as soon as Ito came in, the run game just looked so much better. I don't understand what's happened. Again,
I think that's probably to do with the concussions from last year, and I think there was some sort of carryover from that. I'd imagine. And let's face it, Brian Hill didn't do a terrible job last year when he stepped up when Ito was out, and I think that's probably what won him the backup job this year. But you're absolutely right. I think Ito Smith is by far the better runner than what Brian Hill is, by far.
And, man, I could only imagine what Ito and Gurley could be doing with a play caller that doesn't do the exact same script every single drive. You know, like it's 2nd and 13 and we're running right up the gut. This win was awesome. Don't get me wrong. Super pumped about it. We did not win because of Dirk Cutter. We won in spite of Dirk Cutter today.
Yeah.
The defense showing out, and honestly, the Raiders playing one of the sloppiest games that you're going to see all season. If it wasn't for that, if the Raiders played a halfway decent game, we would have been in another nail biter at the end with all of us on the edge of our seats screaming and sweating. I mean, it's just where we're at. But
does anyone think that this is the D that we showed today what we could have showed all season, though? And our D is actually very good.
Without Dan Quinn? Sure.
But for some reason this year, I mean, you look over, since Raheem's taken over, I think the yards we've given up has dropped by about 70 yards on average a game. And the points on average a game has dropped by about 10 points a game as well. So I think the D's always been good. It's just something's held them back now. And I think now they're starting to gel a bit more. I think it just needs a little bit tidied up. Tuioti Mariner has been a superb player.
Yeah, for sure.
He's done so well, and obviously Foy, and it was even nice to see John Kaminsky come up with a sack today. Mm-hmm. So I think that our D has been good all year. He's just been held back a bit.
It's like Dan Quinn bottled up all their personality. Like the couple of hits Neil put on sort of set the tone. I think, and like the defensive line, more people are picking up the slack of things we lost or didn't have earlier in the season.
Yeah, they've certainly seemed to come out with a bit more impetus since Dan Quinn's gone. I mean, I think it was a screen Vegas ran, and you just saw the speed of Keanu Neal and just come and splattered him to stop the first down. And I think that shows that if there was any concerns about his injuries, I think that put them to bed a little bit, I think.
And point out right there on the comment, Ricardo Allen showed out today. we're not giving nearly enough credit to AJ Terrell at this point either.
No, I'm just about to say.
That man
absolutely.
got targeted all game long, and he is really showing out as a rookie. Yeah. Like I screamed, I bitched, I moaned, just like I did every time Thomas Dimitrov drafted anybody when he got drafted. But I'll eat my words happily on this one, man. He's turning out to be something else.
I thought when the way he sort of kept Ruggs under control was really good, and he could have got an interception on at least one of the plays against Ruggs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's put that LSU game behind him at this point, which has been what we were all scared of. But thankfully, it's working out our way right now.
Yeah, and I think I've seen a lot of positive comments about it. Obviously, like what Greg said then, like at the start, everyone was a bit like, "Oh, it's not someone we should be picking, etc." But he's getting better every week. He's obviously still make mistakes, but he's proven himself. And I think everyone just that championship game, everyone went off that. That was it. Oh, he's had one bad game. Yes, we know it was the championship one, but people are in Super Bowls and play absolutely shit, and they're still loved by the fans. So I think
the thing is as well with Terrell is that no one expected him to come in and be CB1 anyway. I think obviously he knew he was going to be starting, but with Trufant going, I don't know. I don't think he would have expected to come in and be CB1, and he's done really, really well all year. I mean, you look at the Lions of the Cuda. They're playing him as a number 2. They're trying to bed him in. And he's just had to come in straight to the deep end, and he showed out. And whether that's purely by luck and judgment from Dimitrov and Dan Quinn, I don't know. But he certainly held his own.
AJ's been better than all the rookie corners in this draft, I think. CJ Henderson's on IR, I believe. Akuda's struggled a bit in Detroit. Arnett's been on IR, and he struggled last week against the Chiefs. He went off early against the Falcons today. But Terrell's just came in a bad secondary and held his own. He's played superbly. And even though he had that issue with COVID, it's not held him back. He came back in after COVID, and he's performed really, really well.
I think it's also that he's actually been going up in practice, both in college and at the NFL level, against high-level receivers. Like in college, he was up against T. Higgins. In Atlanta, he's got Ridley, Jones as 2 he can go up against week in, week out. And I don't think he's going to face many better receivers than Ridley or Jones. On any
given. Saw in practice in pre-season that he was holding his own against those 2 as well. So he's certainly shown that he's got the ability to play the game. And I mean, I know everyone was screaming for Akuda and what have you during the draft. And I think it just showed that Dimitrov actually did well by holding out, keeping the pick, not selling the soul to move up for Akuda. And he's actually picked and picked a good one for us.
Well, no, I think with Denard as well. I put a tweet out earlier, and I think I would happily take him for another year. I think he's done pretty well this year. He's been in and out of the team.
He's got the veteran presence, isn't
he? His wage will be low again next year, and I think he'd be a good signing to get for another year without a doubt.
One thing we are all overlooking is look at Dimitrov's record drafting DBs. He did pretty well with it when you think about it. He drafted AJ, drafted Trufant. Robert Alford was very, very good for a few years. Brian Poole is an undrafted free agent. He was a serviceable player. Keanu Neal, Rico Allen, Kazee.
I think they got lucky with Rico, though, didn't they? Because Smith cut him. Back, didn't he? So they did get a little bit.
He's only had a couple of whiffs in the draft. I mean, Jalen Collins was obviously a whiff. I mean, he played good in the Super Bowl little run, but other than that, and jury's still out on Isaiah Oliver as far as I'm concerned. Dude is not proved he deserves to be on this team. He makes a couple of hits, but he gets burned more often than he doesn't.
Has he got another year?
1 year.
Oh, he's by the way.
Can't see him going anywhere. End of this year, anyway.
No,
he won't get much for him.
Probably just keep him, and if he improves, he improves. If not, you get rid of him at the end of it. This is a good. Well, 1 sec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the Super Bowl.
I was like, there were 78 moments that we all thought we'd won the Super Bowl.
This point. Yes. I think everyone in here and nearly everyone still agrees he's still got to be fired, and it's not crazy at all. Absolutely not crazy at all.
I'll give him credit for that call and Brandon Powell's touchdown because that was a really good play. But
it's all a good plays.
It did feel like Matt was maybe changing a few plays from what Cutter wanted, or I may have been sort of thinking it that way.
I think he's got to, isn't he? So, I mean, we are so vanilla with Cotter calling. We always know second down we're going to try and run up the middle. I think everyone knows that. It's been mentioned by our opponents before that, so they know how we're going to play. And I think for Matt Ryan, he's got to show his leadership and call audibles. Yeah, I mean, I think that's how we're getting away with it, if I'm honest. Like you said earlier, Greg, it's more in spite of Cotter than because of him.
I have to admit, when Moreau came in and blew up one of the plays in the backfield, I was like, "Here we go again. It's going down that rabbit hole again."
As you can see, we've got another guest on, evening, and what a fucking win! What a win! Yeah. What a win!
It's they come, I guess, when they're not really expected to come. I was just hoping for a good game, competitive game. Yep. It's a competitive game, and they just pretty much blow them out the water, blow them off the field, and I guess it's nice to see, but then it's also frustrating. I tweeted out, it's like frustrating to know, this could have been happening all year, or we were this close a lot of games, and they're showing what they're capable of doing, but a little too late, I guess, in a sense.
It's like just enjoy it's just like enjoying it now, isn't it? Like
exactly.
Everyone you see on Twitter all the time, or we all want the high draft pick, but you can't beat the feeling of a win. Like no matter what win it is, and especially you're scoring 40 odd points and conceding 6.
Yeah.
You can't beat it. And if we end up with a 15th draft pick and I've still got highs from this season, we'll go again. And even if we ended up with a pick around that, we'll at least know we'll have a new GM, we'll have a new head coach, and that's what we wanted from the start of the season, basically. So it's on to the next season and see what happens. But enjoy the rest of the season, basically.
This story is a story of what could have been. It's a story of what could have been. I mean, if we had held on against Dallas, Detroit, and Chicago, we'd be 7-4, I think.
Yeah,
my maths isn't great, but we'd be 7-4. That would put us firmly in contention for the playoffs.
Yeah, we're not a. Well, I don't know what we're 4-7. We're not a 4-7 team. I think we all know that, and I think a lot of people do know that. But it's one of them where people look back at the end of the season and think, "Fuck's sake, what could have been?" But it is what it is, and I think it's go and enjoy the rest of the season, enjoy the games. There's still going to be lows, still going to be lows, and we know there's going to be lows because with the Falcons, but there's still going to be the highs, and we'll enjoy them.
Yeah,
and we've got the Saints next, and this is the time where we need to. Yes, we know fucking last week it was absolutely appalling, but look, who went into this game expecting us to win?
I predicted us to lose.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the Saints game now. Taysom Hill has 3 completions on 6 attempts for 3 yards.
Saints are going to beat us.
Yeah,
and that's exactly why I said, this is why we don't need to hold on to Raheem at the end of the year. I love what he's done, but we can make any quarterback look like a Pro Bowler on any given week. And we just made Derek Carr look terrible, and that's fantastic. But Taysom Hill is a nauseating presence on the field.
Yeah.
And watching him do what he did last week, I mean, I'm sorry, that mixed with the Detroit meltdown, Raheem very much deserves to be a head coach. Jeff Ulbrich really deserves to be a defensive coordinator at this point. This is not just like he's not a flash in the pan. He really knows what he's doing. I want them elsewhere. Go somewhere else and get your job. They need Dan Quinn's ghost gone. and holding on to his buddies is only going to continue this.
Yeah.
Question: what if the new head coach comes in and wants to retain Ulbrich, like Matt Nagy did with Vic Fangio in Chicago a couple of years back?
I don't think no one would be mad with that. I think the main person we want out is Cotter, and I think that is the main problem. I think you'd accept Ulbrich staying because you know you've still got a new head coach, etc. But if Cotter's gone, I think 99%, apart from one or two of the Falcons, who won't be happy about it. But
I read on Twitter somewhere, don't know any truth to it at all, but are Cutter and Raheem kind of getting into a little bit of fighting right now behind the scenes? I heard something like Raheem will ask him to change something up, and he always says he wants good reasons before he'll change his offense. And it's just like this infighting crap that's going on, which I'm dumbfounded because I can give you 1,000 reasons why you should change your damn game plan.
Yeah.
Starting with your record.
Yeah.
Like, I swear, running an Ask Madden and just clicking plays at random with this offense should give you 25 points a game.
At least, yep.
So I didn't know if you guys have heard anything true to that or not. It could just be one of those Twitter rumors, but
I feel like if it is just a rumor, though, I think it's a truthful one because I can definitely see that happening. Cutter just seems real strong head, and we can see that in his play calling. Like it's so predictable, like everything that he does. So it's like I can definitely see like a little bit of pushback, but they don't need to obviously have that affect the success of the team. But I feel like in times it probably has. Like example last week with the Saints, it's I guess like I said, just a head scratcher. But like you said earlier too, I said it in the pregame show when I was on with the guys in the morning that like you just said everyone that's on the coaching staff now just has to go. And like I said, Raheem was the one I would hope to have, stayed and like if he won all the game, like won out or whatever, like, have a chance at the head coach position. But, we just see it time and time again. Like he's been on the staff too long. The two familiar faces, they just all have to literally just have to go. It's sad to say, but I'm pretty sure they'll get opportunities and jobs elsewhere.
Definitely. If you look at the question,
Arthur brings in a GM that wants to keep Raheem.
You said GM?
Yeah, what if Uncle Arthur? What if he brings in a GM and the GM wants to keep Raheem for the head coaching job?
I mean, I guess I wouldn't be super upset about it, but it just feels like we're just being in the same position. It's just a stagnant position. There's no growth. Whether the organization is trying to rebuild in some type of way within the next year or two, or make that feel like they still have the pieces necessary to make that jump and get us right back to where we was 2016, 2017. Then
See, I'm of the opposite thinking, and our cap limitations for next year, and possibly the year after as well, we would be maybe better off with the devil we know than the devil we don't. And that we've got someone on the inside who knows all the players, because let's face it, we're not going to be able to go for an all-out sweep and hit the free agency market, bringing the big guns for free agency.
Yeah,
that maybe Raheem would be better than bringing in an outsider who's going to have their hands tied.
And I can see that.
I don't think there's no need to sweep the roster. Like Al and I were messaging during the Saints game. We started with every fucking body needs to be fired by. And then I know I started listing these players like this guy can say, this guy can say. No, there is a solid core there that someone with a brain between their ears can make work.
Yep.
It's just and Raheem has done a great job. If he stays, great. As long as the devil that we know calling offensive plays has his ass out in Atlanta in a couple of months.
That's really the only. Yep, that's what I'm saying. Dirk Cutter is the one I've been wanting out for 2 years. So
God, the minute he got hired, I was like, okay. Yeah. Like we don't. There's no place in the NFL for the forwards anymore. There's no place in the NFL for this bullshit of like. I mean, like even the announcer said at one point, "Man, these routes take a really long time to develop." Great. Let's come off a week where Matt gets sacked 8 times and let's run some long distance.
Exactly.
What the hell? It doesn't make any sense. I swear this guy just comes in with the playbook and that's what he's doing. No adjustments are made.
at all. Like you just said, no game planning. It's just what he has is what he has, and that's what he rides out with the rest of the year. Like you said, like when he got hired again, I was real iffy because obviously we had him
12 through 14.
10 to 12, 12 to 14. My fault.
Yeah, because they played great. They had that 13-3 year with him. They went to the AFC Championship. They were like one Tony Gonzalez slip away from the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Since then, what has happened?
He went to Tampa and look what they produced the last few years.
He was great. Super glad to have him back.
Yeah. It's just to be careful what you wish for, isn't it? Because let's face it, for 18 months, everyone wanted Sark out the door. They wanted him gone. And now look at him; he's pulling out plays left, right, and centre at Alabama, and we're stuck with an absolute castle horse.
Coaching under Nick Saban is very different.
Sorry,
getting to coach for Alabama is very different. Like you got your cream of the crop, perfect people to play with at that point. But no, I see what you're saying, and I was one of the first ones to scream, "Get Sark out!" Now, the more I think about it, man, I think it's Dan Quinn's fault. He kept making everybody try to run Shanahan's playbook. And he's been making Coach Carter run Shanahan's playbook. And what the hell sense does that make?
No.
You know, it's just that's where we're at right now. Dan Quinn's group gone. We start over. We'll be all right. That's where my head's at anyway. Otherwise, I'm just going to go down that deep dark pit that I was in 2017. I don't want that.
Going back to the Raheem thing, would you? I think keep him on for a couple of years because we know he knows everyone. Bring on a young, innovative coach who could then be groomed to take over when we have the cap space and flexibility to do more things. I think that could be an option.
You're talking about,
but then we'd end up with the same argument that get rid of Raheem and then take out his all his mates at the same time. That people saying that they're causing the problems with him, and we needed a clean sweep. So I thought, stuck between a rock and a hard place there.
The only problem is if keeping Raheem, it almost guarantees Cutter will be back.
I don't think it does.
I don't think so, man. If that rumor is true and they are fighting, I think he'll put his ass out.
Yeah, because he should have full control.
The only reason he's there now is because
that wouldn't shock me.
The only reason he's there now is because it's too late during the season to get rid of an offensive coordinator, bring someone else in to learn a new playbook.
I mean, Greg Knapp's there; he can run it. Anybody, let Raheem call the offensive plays for God's sake. Let Matt call them. Hell, let Julio call him. Who gives a damn?
I think there's enough seniority in the players to actually potentially go to whoever comes in if we have Raheem to say we need something different.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm sorry. I just read that comment.
Yeah, me too.
I never in the world thought I was going to miss Sark, man. It's so messed up. But I mean, and the previous comment too, the preface of the playbook. Yeah, the issue is just holding Kyle Shanahan's playbook in your hands doesn't make you a good offensive coordinator. It's his understanding of his own system that makes him, and everybody off that coaching tree does it differently. Sean McVay does it differently, but they're all damn good play callers for a reason. And if you handed me Shanahan's playbook, I'd get lost on page 1. So I mean, I admit that one openly, but it's just I cannot believe I've read 6 times this week that people miss Sarkisian. Yeah. it's terrifying.
You misunderstanding me there. I didn't say I miss Sarkisian.
Chaos. Absolute chaos.
I didn't say I miss him. I'm just saying that he wasn't as bad as what people have made out.
Oh no. And that's just the nature of the beast, right? We had what, number 6 greatest offense in NFL history, that Super Bowl run. I mean, we all missed that, and naturally, it's all right. You're not working out. You get in that run of the Browns and everybody else have, though, and then you start being the worst teams in the league. Hell yeah! I love that right there. Let Matt call the plays.
He was on high for nothing anyway, wasn't he, Sark? He was obviously replacing Shanahan, who, like you say, the 6th best offense of all time. He'd never run an offense in the NFL. He obviously had his well-known problems with alcohol. He was just always on a hide into. He was just always on a hide into nothing.
Yeah.
The problem
Some
is
good
with
comments
Sark
coming in here.
is that he was forced to run Shanahan's playbook, and that was a burden to him. He was not going to come in and be the next Kyle Shanahan. Everyone expecting him to be that. He's off the rocker. But in 2018, when he was allowed to run his own plays, we saw a massive difference.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Matt was the second best quarterback in the league that year behind Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
Which Pat had one of the best seasons ever that year. So you can't his numbers were actually in his MVP level or slightly better, depending on what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And that's why that's what is soul breaking to me is watching him and Cutter's offense getting slammed every single week. This sucks, man. We are wasting one of the best quarterbacks we're ever going to have.
And wide receivers.
And wide receivers.
Wide receivers. Yeah.
And
it's whereas you've seen it with like the attitude of Jones on the sideline. He's like his attitude is great, and he was injured today, but he's like talking to Ridley, and they're just like you just see the bond in the team, and you just think, for fuck's sake, like the Jones he won't get a ring here, and it's like wow, it's just the. But even like I think the whole team thing it is good. Like when Aluka and I can't remember, it was Hill ran up and I put a tweet about it, and it's just like the passion between on the sidelines. That's what I want to see, and it's just when you're looking at the players that might miss out on a ring.
See, this we're stopping them from winning a ring. Really, really annoys me. It really annoys me because only one team a year will win the Super Bowl, and there's been some great players through the years that have never even got close to even playing in championship, but playing for the NFC or for the AFC. So this whole they deserve to win a ring is absolute bollocks. And I'm not having it. It really does. It just winds me up. Yes, they deserve to win a ring because they're great players, but no, I'll get angry now. But no player deserves to win a ring because they are the greatest in their position. The whole team has got to earn it, yeah. So
the only argument I have against that, and it's because we all love Matt so much, but the reason that they deserve to win a Super Bowl is because they were 3 runs and a field goal away from getting that Super Bowl. I mean, it was just the series of, oh my God, how could this possibly happen is the reason they're not sitting on rings right now.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. Just because you're talented, like Megatron deserves a ring, and that's why you have the Hall of Fame. But now, quickly, because I just saw that comment, of course Roddy White would be defending Dirk Cutter because Shanahan ran his ass out of Atlanta. Yep. And good in Cutter's offense. So, that makes sense. They got a personal beef there. I mean,
One thing that does annoy me is that casual fans always claim they want like Julio to team up with another superstar wideout. I mean, it's never going to happen. It's not the NBA where stars can get traded because of a soft salary cap. The NFL has a hard salary cap. You can't do it.
I mean,
I don't even think he's that type of player anyway to want to go and team up somewhere else. He's made it clear that he wants to, finish his career here. It's just like from the top to coaching level. Now we got to figure that part out so we can get it. That same 2016-17 team back on the field to make that happen for him. Because like you said, we probably got maybe 2 more great years, 2 more physically great years with Matt and Julio to make something shake. And, just looking forward to the offseason.
Yeah. Well, we'll go on to the next 5 games because we'll bring this up again. So Benjamin's got 2 out of the next 5 games, Saints and Chargers. And then lose the last 3. To be fair, before this game, I think I said to Greg, I said 1 win. And I said that I said that could have been the Bucks just because we might do them once. But even the Chargers, they're not a 3 and are they on 7 losses, is it? Or 2? Are they on 2? I can't know how many wins they're on.
2 wins, I think.
2 wins. They're not on 2.
Anyway. Might be 2 or 3.
I think we should go 4 and 1.
Yeah.
I mean,
I see 3. Yeah, I feel like we definitely split one with the Bucks. Every game there is up and down, and I think they're getting blown out right now, like 17-0. So we can definitely steal one from the Bucks. I think the Saints one would be more so of a revenge like game as well, and that one's at home too, I believe. And then the Chargers, more than likely, like I said, Bucks at home probably won't win, and then Chiefs as well. It would be asking a lot for us to take that one, especially on the road.
The Raiders did.
So
the Raiders did it.
Yeah, they did.
And we just blew them out.
Yeah, that's a great point. But I feel like at that point the Chiefs will be rolling. He's like that's what, second to last game before the playoffs.
Unless they've already made it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Unless they sit at the people. Yeah,
they'll probably blow the Saints, blow the Bucks twice, blow the Chargers, and beat the shit out of Kansas City because this is just what's going on.
If you go to the Chiefs game, it's like if they're only on one loss like they are now, and then you've got the Steelers, they still want that first. You want that first place, don't you? So it's not. It depends. I can't see them resting many if it comes to that. I can't see them resting any. But it would be a good. I've never seen us play quite a few teams. Obviously, it's only second season, but it'd be good to go up against Mahomes. I've never watched the games of Mahomes, but I've never seen us go up against a QB like him. So would be. Except if it ends up 50-0, then I'll be fucking regretting it.
When we don't see that happen because there is no quarterback like him, man.
Yeah,
he's a once in a lifetime kind of guy. No, I mean, like for me, my money, I could see us beating the hell out of the Saints next week, just as a revenge thing. I could see us getting blown out round 2. Like, there's no game that I feel confident saying we are going to win or lose from here on out.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
that was evident today.
Oh God, not again! Not again! Not again!
Not again! Can of worms!
Not again! Mr. Bennett Sports Edit. Oh God! Oh God!
I guess he comes on a lot and asks this question.
No, this is not the question to ask, my man. Matty is my boy. I will defend him forever.
Likewise. No.
That being said, was I screaming that if we had one loss or one win this year that we should get Trevor to let him sit behind Matt for a few years? Yeah, I absolutely thought that. That being said, the dude Pro Football Focus had him as like the best rushing quarterback a couple of weeks ago. He's in his mid-30s at this point. No, we don't get rid of Matt. If we people really, really have not thought about the fact that we have been so blessed to have him for so long.
Absolutely.
I mean, I always bring up the Cleveland Browns because they've had like a quarterback per quarter for the last forever. But it's not easy to find a franchise guy.
Cleveland have had 30 quarterbacks in the past like 30 years or something like that.
That's how bad they've been. Some shockers like Brandon Weeden.
Same couch.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Michael Vick for a little while, and he was like a great, awesome presence in his own way. That year or two without him, though, that was a really dark time.
Probably the worst ever.
And then Matt shows up. We go to the playoffs in the first year. We get first back-to-back winning seasons in history. Win 3 in a row. We've been spoiled by good play for so long and everybody wants a Pat Mahomes, but that's not happening because there is one Pat Mahomes. But that's just where I'm at.
It's like
just think about us being amazing with Matt. 6 playoff berths in 12 years, and I mean prior to that we had about 8 in 45. So with Matt, we've gone to the playoffs once every 2 seasons, which is pretty good when you think about it. And look at cases around the league like Chicago, 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks since 1970. Jim McMahon in 85, I believe, when they won the Super Bowl, and Mitch Trubisky as a Super Bowl replacement in 2018.
Yeah, which is a joke to even think about. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and somehow Matt didn't make the playoffs the postseason that year. The Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
I heard he turned it down.
Yeah.
That was about the time that his kids were born, and I heard he just wanted to get away from that. And he is really available. Johnny Manziel will be available forever. For good reason.
Yeah.
I think with the quarterbacks, I think in this year's draft, if someone does drop and it's like too good a value to turn down, I think that there might be a pick thrown out there for sit behind Matt quarterback and see what's possible.
In
Who
my
have you got in the first round? Like Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Trevor Lawrence as the potential 3, and then maybe the guy from Florida.
Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence are two top guys.
Who's the guy at BYU that's for going up?
Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
Zach Wilson.
That's the one.
Yeah.
He could be third off the board.
For me, Mac Jones, he's having a great year. I don't trust Alabama quarterbacks.
No,
I don't. And honestly, I don't trust anybody but Alabama receivers, frankly. And I better say that because we got 2 of them. Yeah. But I just don't see it. Like if Justin Fields for some reason dropped to Atlanta, take him. You got to do it. Trevor Lawrence will not get out of the Jets. If he's in this draft, he's going to the Jets.
Justin Fields is going too. The Jags need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is definitely going too.
Yeah.
But if we had the opportunity to pull down another high corner or another, I'm not so high on these early pass rushers at this point. Every time I see these guys who are supposed to be game wreckers, they're just kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
If we have a high corner though, you take that over Mac Jones, especially.
Yeah.
I don't particularly rate that receiver.
Do you think
I don't rate him whatsoever.
I pointed it out a couple of weeks ago. Do you think Miami might spend some of their picks to move up the draft board to maybe go for Fields or for Lawrence or for Trey Lance? Because at the end of the day, they were meant to be looking at Tua on this 1 year. He's injured again now.
I give you one scenario that I believe that happens, and that's that Dabo Swinney is our next coach. I think if Dabo comes in, he pushes every chip in the table he has to bring his quarterback in. Other than that, I don't see it.
No.
Yeah. With the quarterback situation, I'm at like you guys just said. Matt stays, plays out his contract. I hope, but more than likely, I feel like they'll get a quarterback. I don't know what round. If there is one that slips in the first round at all, I doubt the top 3 will. But like you guys said, maybe, I don't know. It depends on who they bring in, but a Mac Jones or a Kyle Trask, then they might, go for that. Like you said, have him sit behind him for 2 years and then kind of just see what plays out from there. But I don't know. Because like you said, there's no trading him. There's no cutting him. Obviously, it's just like you said. We've been blessed with him for 12 years. I feel like he's just gonna have to play. He's gonna play out his contract in. I don't know. Outside of, like I said, those top 3, more than likely is Trask. I'm pretty sure he's going to enter the draft. And then Mac Jones, one of those 2 guys. I don't even know if they fall, honestly. Like I said, there's a lot of teams I believe in first few picks of the draft are going to be quarterback needy, especially obviously the first 2. So, I don't. That's kind of like you said, just same thing. Reiterating, I'm kind of at the same thing with you guys in the same spot with it. So,
yeah, I think getting into the draft a bit, if it comes up and you get one of the top quarterbacks. I'm not, obviously I don't watch college football, so I don't really know much about players would go for, but what's everyone's preference? Obviously it's got to be defensive without a doubt.
There's no question.
It has to be.
Same as every year, man.
Yeah, no, that's literally been the focus or it should have been the focus every single, pretty much every single year.
I think I've seen a mock draft the other week. I can't remember who it was, but it was on another cornerback. Well,
I don't know who's rated number 1 right now, but I know Wade out of Ohio State was.
What about that Surtain? That Surtain fella. What about that Surtain fella, Patrick Surtain or whatever his name is?
Or Alabama.
I think he is. Yeah.
He might be number 1. Like I said, it's one of those 2. I don't really know which one is number 1 at this point, or is regarded as the number 1 corner that's coming off the board at this point. But I don't know. For some reason, I guess it depends on, like I said, it just depends. There's so many moving parts I feel like that's going to come this offseason. It depends on, I guess, who we lock down at that second cornerback spot. Like, if we're able to somehow bring Denard back, because I've been seeing Denard and Todd Gurley obviously as rentals. They're more than likely not coming back. But if we're able to somehow lock down maybe him, I don't know if they go corner. I feel like they're gonna go edge. More than likely. Just like they just kind of have to. Like obviously Tak's gone. Vic is gone this offseason. We got Dante Fowler kind of signed, not kind of signed, but signed for 4 years. So they just need somebody opposite of him to help create some pressure. Just another young guy to help create some pressure. So I personally think they're gonna go edge again. Because they went corner this past year, so That's kind of like what I'm thinking.
I didn't actually realise Dante Fowler was playing today. It wasn't until sort of halfway through the fourth quarter they mentioned his name.
Yeah.
One of the commentators at one point goes, "Hey, we've not called his name all game," and I'm like, "Yeah, called his name all season."
He said, "Yep."
Did he play quite a few snaps then?
He played a few. I don't think he played quite a lot.
Yeah, no. I think I'm with Tricky. I think it was that point in the last quarter. I was just like, he was walking off the field, and I was just like, what? Like, I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it was he.
Hey, that guy we spent all that money on. That still hasn't done anything. Great.
Yep.
But I think with Fowler, yes, he is a good pass rusher, but he has an attitude. If it's not going his way, he sort of downs tools, I feel, and that's been a few games this year, and especially the Lions game. You look when the game finishes, most players would be pissed off and sort of shouting, but you see a picture of him and he's just walking off, helmet in hand.
Yeah,
better than Vic Beasley being in the tunnel waiting for the game to end.
Exactly. I don't know. I guess I'm a Dante Fowler guy just because I like Florida. That's my college football team, so that's his alma mater. I get, like I said at the beginning of the preseason, or not preseason, sorry, the pregame show, that the key to the game, I guess you're circling back, the key to the game was if we got pressure on Derek Carr, which I feel like Dante Fowler coming back from the COVID list or whatever, he was going to be able to get pressure on Derek Carr. Or even if he doesn't, he opens it up for everybody else. So I'm going to butcher his name, but 91, obviously he had probably the game of his life today, 3 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries. Like, he just had a ridiculous game today. So, like, Dante Fowler, like, I guess, I don't know if someone said it about him. I was fine with the contract that he got just because I know the capabilities that he has when he's healthy. And he's relatively been healthy for the most part of the year. I know he had maybe, I think, a game where he missed because of ankle injuries. And then, of course, he was on the COVID list. But I feel like he's a solid, like I said, he has that edge, he has that attitude. And he's a solid guy to, like, even if he's not getting the sacks, he's always around the ball creating pressure and he's quick off the line. So way better, like a major upgrade in my opinion from Tech and Beasley. So hopefully we're just able to get him another running mate to, create that pressure, because I believe Marlon Davidson, I think, to me, I mean, he hasn't played much this year, but eventually I feel like he'll come on and be like, it'll be seen kind of like as a steal going in the second round. And then him and Grady together, they just need that other edge rusher. And then our front seven should be a little bit solidified because we see Alua Khan's been wonderful this year. Deion Jones is going to be here, for a while. We signed him to an extension. So once that front seven starts to form a little bit with that other edge rusher and we get our secondary intact, we might be okay. That's what I'm saying. But just so many moving parts this season. It's just going to be fun, but also nerve-wracking to see kind of what we're able to do with the money that we have.
Let's say we go edge in the draft. Gregory Rousseau's the top edge rusher. I think, if memory serves, he's opted out of this season. He had 9.5 sacks or something like that last season.
Yeah.
Is there a concern that it'll just be, because he's a speed guy, is there a concern that it'll just be another Tack or another Vic?
I mean,
I wonder so hard what Beasley and Tack would have done if they didn't have Dan Quinn as their coach for the past few years.
I've been thinking that as well. Yep.
I don't think Beasley was ever pushed. I mean, he was directly told, "Show up. I'm going to work with you one-on-one," and he skipped the OTAs. I mean, it's you just don't know. If you had a coach that was actually going to kick him in the pants, I think Raheem would have forced him to be there.
Yeah.
And, and who knows? But just because he's a speed guy, I'm doing my best to not automatically assume we're getting another Vic Beasley. Because if things weren't going exactly right for him, if he wasn't getting 15 and a half sacks, he was non-existent. Yeah. And he actually didn't even want to be there. And that's going to go based on the fact that, who booted him? Tennessee?
Tennessee. I think both of them are on the Raiders.
That's
the funny thing
right now.
Yeah.
Tack's on injured reserve, isn't he?
Yeah, went on IR immediately.
Changing position slightly.
Yeah.
We tried to do it in the last draft and the last season, but do we need to be looking at the punter again at the end of the season?
You say
sorry, you broke up a little bit for me, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you say punter?
Do we need to be looking at punter again at the end of the season?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I wouldn't rule it out.
I
I think
think 3
not
yards
major
the
thing,
average today on 3 punts.
I think was it Hofferscher? I think he's been
Yeah.
okay. I forgot.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was last week. I seen some type of ratings where because they were rating all of our rookies across the league, like where they are in I guess the PFF rankings or whatever. And he was actually not that. It wasn't that bad a rating. So I mean, but like I said, it's special teams you can never not improve. I guess. Like I said, he had I mean, it wasn't his fault. I think it was tipped today, but I mean, he's had a few blunders of punts sometimes. But I mean, overall, I guess he's been solid. I guess for a 7th round draft.
Once again,
It's weird that we even spent a 7th round pick on him.
Yeah.
We've been spoiled by Matt Bosher.
Exactly.
Bosher's been around and kick and tail for years, and now we got a rookie.
Yeah, but Ryan, I would have preferred to have kept Ryan Allen. I actually thought he'd done a really good job at the end of the last season.
He did,
yeah.
He did.
I just maybe they were trying to save money because
yep, that's exactly what it was. Yep,
and they had to make the choice somewhere. I don't really know.
I think exactly it. I think it was a money situation. Yeah, you save drafting a 7th round punter versus keeping a veteran.
And also, how many guys out of the 7th actually end up being contributors for the most part? I mean, it ends up being one of those guys that you cut in training camp at some point. So, I don't know. Sterling seems fine to me. He's had the hang time. He just needs to grow a little bit.
Yeah,
I think we'll look. I think every team looks at not every team, but we'll look into that at end of the draft if it's a 7th round again or if it's a free agent or whatever, undrafted. I think it's summer. Especially with him only being here a year, I think it's some of every team, most teams, if they've not got a steady kicker or punter, they will look into it. But
the one player I want us to flex, and I want to see him have a couple of games at the end of the season, is Pinckney. I want to see him bring up Jared Pinckney from
Vanderbilt.
Practice.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to see what he can do. I mean. He was another one who he was high on the draft boards for 1 year, and then that terrible season where he couldn't do anything. I don't know. I'd like to see what he can bring to the table. Because I mean, after Hayden Hurst, Jaden Graham doesn't really instill any confidence in me. Luke Stocker's just a blocking tight end, and he doesn't really do much. I'd like to see what Pinckney can bring to the table.
Didn't Grant Delpit go in the 2nd round this year?
Yeah. I think he's hurt. Yeah,
he
plays with Cleveland. Yeah,
he's on IR.
Yeah,
that comment was for the draft. Grant Delpit.
I'll get rid of that
one. For me, we forgot though. He's a free agent, but I guarantee we're going to get him for cheap if we wanted him. DeMonte KZ will be back next year.
Yep.
I mean. I know it was an Achilles or an ACL that
Achilles.
All right, that sucks, but at the same time, Keanu Neal had both, and he's still crushing people. So it's not out of the question. We can get a really cheap free safety if we want to drop Ricardo Allen. I mean, you start looking at you get a decent corner in the draft to pair alongside AJ. If you don't get Denard back, you got DeMonte, you got Keanu Neal. The linebackers are set. You get one more defensive line position, and once again, a play caller. You don't know. I mean, Raheem Morris has taken a crap defense and turned it into a little something.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only a couple parts away, mainly being coaches, to get us there.
Yeah.
I think if you have a very strong D line, which it could be like if Marlon comes in and then you get another edge, if your secondary is only okay, because if the D line's doing a lot of the work and the pressure, a lot of people will take that straight away because obviously you're causing pressure on the quarterback straight away, etc. So if they do come in bang average or plays here and there, it can work out.
The Carolina Panthers went 15-1 with a really strong front seven, a basic secondary.
Exactly what I was about to say. I
was so tired of hearing about how Josh Norman was a stud that year because I knew otherwise.
Yeah.
Everyone wants sacks though, let's face it.
Yeah.
To make a random comment, Koo bailed out again. All you need is Koo. Instead of All You Need Is Love by the Beatles, all you need is Koo. I like the ring of that. He's a free agent, I believe, at the end of the season.
Yeah.
He should, in my opinion, he should be one of our biggest priorities.
As much as you
one of our biggest priorities.
Yes.
It's so hard to find an accurate kicker. Koo. just came in randomly off the street
Mm-hmm.
and has been a stud ever since.
Yeah.
I can remember when they said, "Oh, he can't kick long," and everyone he's kicked, he's not missed one yet.
That's another reason why Dan
Almost over 50. Yep.
And especially, was it in the first 5? One of the first 5 games. There's a few times where I think one was only like 55, 56, and probably should have gone
57.
for it. 57.
57 against Seattle, and we decided to go for it on 4th down, I believe.
Yeah.
And well, we fucked up.
I 200% believe they're going to hang on to him. I mean, he's got a
Absolutely.
killer instinct. Once again, we've been spoiled. We had one of the greatest kickers of all time.
Yeah.
We went without him for a minute, and the last year was terrifying because of it.
Yeah. What it seems like Greg is saying is we're just never prepared to move on to that next step, or we don't have guys like behind someone to, kind of fill that role, fill that spot, or we don't have enough money to pay guys to come in and fill that spot. So it seems like we're never prepared for that next step.
Yep.
And continuing to, be a winning type franchise, such as other franchises that we've seen across the league. It's like we're scrambling to figure out what we should do next or what we can do next. When either someone goes down to injury, we got to cut somebody, someone's not playing up to par anymore. It's just stuff like that. Because like you just said, we've been spoiled. Like you just said, we've been spoiled with a kicker. We've been spoiled with a punter. We've been spoiled with Matt so far. We've been spoiled with Julio.
All 3 guys named Matt except for Julio, but yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think the only position where we've actually been like, oh yeah, we feel comfortable with it is wide receiver, because it's gone Roddy, Julio, Calvin.
Yeah.
As the 3.
We can really draft wideouts. We can really draft them.
That's like skill positions. The only thing I guess, was decent sometimes at picking. Why I can't remember his name. Just left my memory. But our former GM. Dimitron. So I felt like his last few drafts he was kind of missing on. I talk about it all the time in my show. I can't stand Isaiah Oliver from the second we picked him in the 2nd round. And pretty much everything from there. Like he's hit obviously on Deion Jones. The Lillicon pick was pretty nice. And then Calvin Ridley, he just fell at us at 26. So it's kind of like, at that point, I was like, yeah, you kind of got to draft. Because we didn't need a receiver and we knew it. But it's like, why not add another toy to the offense at that point? So,
I think
I can't believe it fell 26, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I like DJ more, but Ridley is on another level, in my opinion.
That kind of fueled him a little bit. Because, I would definitely would have went Calvin over DJ Moore any day of the week.
Also,
he did a wide out as well.
Then DJ had that crazy touchdown against us earlier in the year, and I was like, oh, shit, I forgot he's actually
If we go to, there's a comment on our Twitter earlier, I can't remember who put it. He's a Falcons fan. Put something about Matt Ryan not being a future Hall of Famer. He said that about, but he said it because because he's always had the good receivers, the class receivers like White, Jones, Ridley, but then it's like, is he not making them also look good? You're just looking at the point like they're really good wide receivers, which they are, but he's also making them look better.
You know what?
They're just taking it from 1 point.
I'm absolutely going to rant about this. Some git tried claiming that the only reason Matt's been successful because Julio's caught like 6/10 of his passes. Look at Peyton Manning with Marvin Harrison in Indianapolis.
Is that
it's such a pathetic argument. Each quarterback has their favorite target.
Without Drew Brees being able to throw his little 3-yard pass to Michael Thomas, he's literally nothing.
Yeah.
But also, okay, great. He's had Julio and Roddy for most of his career, Tony Gonzalez. He's had some great pass catchers. You know what he hasn't had for most of his career?
Blocking.
Offensive line.
Like blocking.
That man has gotten killed for years and years. Please. He's got a Ferrari outside that he can't see because he's getting punched when he walks through his front door. There's no argument there.
Yeah.
Absolutely none.
Exactly. It's not like they're throwing to themselves as well.
You say that, it reminds me of one of the plays in today's game when I think it was in the 3rd quarter, and Brian Hill was meant to be blocking, and he just got absolutely
ran through. Yeah, and then he wanted to hit the ground like, oh man, like I almost had to block. Like I let it up. Like no, like you just got ran over, and 2 guys just sacked your quarterback. Yeah, like. Acting like he was close with it,
Alex Mack was a godsend when they got him because it shored everything up. But if you guys think a couple years before that, and even when he's been here, there have been times where Matt has just been killed.
Yep.
It's not like he's a Russell Wilson that's short enough and fast enough to run away. That's 6'5", and he runs like I'm probably a post 540 at this point.
Yeah.
He can't run away from anybody.
Anyone. Yeah.
But we have those turnstile tackles though, like Sam Baker.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. The only sort of kind of
great point.
Like, yeah, he's only had, like you said, the last few years, Alex Mack and then Matthews on the edge. Ever since, like, we're plugging and playing, the other three spots on the line. So it's never been consistent. Like, I don't think ever. I think they've had he's had one decent year where he's had a line.
Yeah,
and
never a defense.
Yeah,
literally never a defense.
By 2017, I think that's the one exception.
Okay, yeah.
One exception.
Yep, because they was. Yep.
But that's you think about he was drafted in 08. We're talking 13 years now. He's had one defensive all decent, and yet the guy still he was an MVP. He was Rookie of the Year. He's got he's leading Atlanta in every major statistic. And honestly he's top 10 ever.
He's always top. Yeah, he's like pretty much always top 5, top 6, probably at worst quarterbacks ever since he's been in the league, at least with passing yards. So like you say, it's not like the guys are throwing to themselves, Tony Gonzalez, Roddy White, Julio, all of them.
No,
it's someone has to get the ball to them.
We love Roddy, right? But Roddy, when he first came into the league, was not good.
Yeah,
he was leading the league in drops. He was he had a bad attitude. Matt coming in actually saved his damn career. No, will not.
That argument that. But the great team, Matt has great receivers. He's had a great complement of weapons supporting him his entire career. Look at all these great teams in history. Look at the likes of Patriots when they had Brady and they was winning Super Bowls left, right, and center. They always had a great supporting cast. Troy Brown, Randy Moss, Wes Welker. So it's not like Brady won those Super Bowls on his own. So this had to.
It's and they always surrounded him with one is like. Tom Brady's defenses have always been great too.
And Tom has always had an offense.
Yep. So it's like other moving parts that helped him, like you just said. And
he's always had a coach that's going to cheat his way to something.
He's had continuity.
Bill Belichick's a super smart guy, but I'm sorry, when you have a different gate behind half your Super Bowl wins, come on, man.
Yeah. And another thing I just realized.
Also got his receivers paid as well.
Absolutely. Look at Sanu.
I know, right?
Sanu, since he left, he's been awful. He's bounced around the league. He was on San Francisco's practice squad. He's just got into Detroit.
With Detroit now.
Yeah, just got on the team because of injuries to Golladay, I think. I think Kenny Galladay's injured.
Yeah. And another thing real quick, I guess before we move on, I just realized, because I said continuity with Tom Brady, like Matt Ryan has had a different offensive coordinator like every 2-3 years. It was at a point it was every 2 years. I think 1 year it was like, or one. Yeah, back to back years, it was somebody different. And so to be able to do what he does and stay at the top of his game with and forever changing playbook is.
There you go. That's what I was going to say. It's not like you're getting to use the same terminology. One word in one playbook means something totally different in another. So the fact that he's able to do all that,
How many has he had? He's had Mike Mularkey, Dirk Cutter, Shanahan, Sarkisian, Cutter again. He's had at least 5 or 6.
Was there somebody before? Was Mularkey there when he was drafted?
I'm not sure. I can't remember saying
that. Yeah, I think it might have been. I feel like it might have been somebody else right before Mularkey.
I was gonna say I thought it was somebody with the first head coach, and then it kind of. Well, no, because I guess Mike Smith was his first.
Who
knows?
If we obviously that point with the quarterback, I know we spoke a bit about it anyway, but it depends, like when his time comes to, obviously, or like he's got a year left or whatever. It is one of them where it depends what's available in the draft coming up. It depends who's then going to be a free agent. I think that's one of them. It just depends. If we might, if you end up doing well in the season and you get into the playoffs, etc., obviously you got a worse draft pick. So I think it depends on what the draft's like and who you could get in free agency as well.
I mean, I figure Fitzpatrick's still going to be kicking around the league when Matt goes out. He's carrying
Thing is, there's no point taking a quarterback this year regardless, even if someone like, I don't know, Trey Lance falls to wherever we land. I say roughly around 14 to 16 at this point. That's my best bet. So would you take him when we've got so many holes on the defensive side of the ball, when we need a corner opposite Terrell, when we need another pass rusher, or if we need, I don't know, a running back? I don't think we'll take one first round, but we do have holes. So quarterback is not one of those holes.
Not yet. Like I said, the only reason I would take one is if you had like one of the top 2 picks and you just got one of those guys sitting there that you can't walk away from. Travis Etienne's actually draft eligible this year, right?
That's what I'm hoping. I've been thinking that ever since the start of the season. I'm hoping
that would be a kick.
I would love that.
I love rookie running backs.
He's a do-it-all running back.
Hit yet.
Yep.
I think Etienne could be the Edwards-Hilaire of this upcoming draft.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if we get Eric Bieniemy as well, that'd be even better.
Yeah, and with a creative, and he wouldn't even be calling the plays. He would just be leading.
I think he'll be better than.
I think a brand new, fresh out of college Etienne would be a better situation than a Todd Gurley that we could get now.
Absolutely.
And then let Ito back him up, man. Like we would have a fine running back stable at that point. And Etienne's not. I doubt he'll go in the first round. Running backs don't. They're not really like held on to. Oh please. The enemy wants to win now. He doesn't want to wait for Herbert to get better.
No. You're going to have Dan Quinn.
Actually, guys, I did hear a rumor that he's looking at either going back to Florida, apparently, or they're saying that Pete Carroll might pick him back up as defense coordinator.
I think that's his best bet, to be honest.
Being on the head coaching radar as well, a couple of places.
Look at Todd Bowles when he went to Tampa Bay as the DC. He's done pretty well. So I think Dan Quinn would thrive as a DC, to be honest with you.
So I read somewhere that we shouldn't hang the Super Bowl win on him too much because he was literally handed a Ferrari and just told not to wreck it that year. Because he was handed the Legion of Boom, and he didn't have to do much other than just don't blow it. But no, I think he'd be fine in that situation. I think a head coach job for him right now is just wrong. I think that's too much to have to think about. And him naming himself defense coordinator and then blowing it kind of showed that.
I think that someone Jets are going to look at him. They're going to look at his record. When Adam Gase goes at the end of the year, they're going to look at his record. Oh, he's got to the Super Bowl. Oh, he's got to the playoffs. Let's take a punt on him, sort of thing. I don't know. That's the sort of stupid thing the Jets would do.
It just feels like certain teams are just going over retreads. It's like a 70-year-old Romeo Crennel's gonna be Texans head coach. Gase, like in New York, he basically got the job after a dumpster fire in Miami, and then living off Peyton Manning's reference.
How the hell did Adam Gase get another job? I mean, in New York last year, they won 7 games, all right, but look at 5 they won. They won it against Washington, New York, Miami, 3 of the 5 worst teams in the league. They beat a Pittsburgh. They beat those teams. They beat a Pittsburgh without the starting quarterback, and they beat a Buffalo side who rested all the starters.
Rex Ryan held many jobs in the NFL. Your resume doesn't matter. Once you get a head coach on it, you get hired. Hey.
Gase is the GOAT, though.
GOAT of what?
I want to have what this guy's on. I really do. I love his optimism, but I think he's stretching a bit there.
I think if we go on, Greg. No, go make your point, because I was going to move on to just a question for next year.
Oh, I was going to say, I was actually just going to say, if we're talking about head coaches, though, if we did go defensive minded, is there anybody in the league that you would like jump on? Because Sam Bradford, coordinator, I love.
The indie defensive coordinator. I'd take him.
I'd take Eberflus.
Okay.
Yeah, he's done such a hell of a job.
He head coach somewhere, but then, or was it defensive coordinator with McDaniels?
Yeah. McDaniels actually signed him, and then he backed out of the deal. So Frank Reich kept Eberflus on because he liked him.
Bring in Bill O'Brien for both jobs.
If we move on to next year, obviously we're gonna end up with whatever wins this year. Like whatever happens, and we know what. Obviously, it'll be a new head coach, new GM. So what are people expecting? Like, what would you be content with? Because I think there was quite a lot of hype going into this year. We all thought we'd do better, which we are a better team than than the results show. But what would you sort of be happy with or content with? Like, what would each person's opinion?
The division's open, so I'd go 9-7, 10-6. That would be sort of the perfect result, but it's all schedule depending.
That's the thing, is it's all down to the schedule.
Well, what division are we playing next? Is it NFC?
AFC East.
It's the East, isn't it? And fuck me, they're shit this year. But if they're as bad as they are this year compared to next year, which I don't think they will be personally, but I still think it'd be a weaker division compared to everyone else's. You are looking at least 2-3 wins, maybe, and 3 wins in that. You're looking at you got divisional rivals to pick wins up. But what else? What would people be content with? Like, because it is sort of you've still got your quarterback, you've still got Matt Ryan Jr. on big contract, and we know the cap space is absolutely abysmal. But it's a new start in it, kind of, but with players we still have.
For me, winning season. Just please God, win 9 games. Like that's the place to start. Because we haven't sniffed that in a while. So
2017.
Yeah, and that was a 10-6 year, which was fine, but also even that year was a slog. It felt like we were getting our asses kicked at the time.
Yeah.
But 9-7, and please let us kick the Saints' ass at least once. Other than that, I'm good.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to.
I'd also be happy with a London game.
I think everyone over here would be happy with a London
Man,
game. I think everyone in America will be.
I really felt for you guys when they got canceled. Like it's not. I'm sure that sucked. Because although I will say, Atlanta seems to choke in a special kind of way when they go to London. So like, they got to figure that out before they come back.
Yeah, I remember that 2014 game against Detroit.
Dude, that was just one of those. It's like you walk away going, "All right, we got it," and then you walk back and like, "How the hell?"
Yeah. Mike Smith, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, and actually, I have a weird soft spot for Mike Smith. Like his defense was ass, but like I just liked him. He got us our first like postseason deep run. But then again, he kind of sucks now too. Tampa Bay.
Going back to the London game, I was sitting with someone who launched their phone from the stand. That's how pissed off he was.
Obviously, it was our first season last year going to London games, so it was obviously the Falcons weren't there, so you sort of enjoy the games as in. You say you pick. I think I went to the Bucks v Panthers. So you sort of pick a team to win, and then Texans v Jags, which was absolutely that was demolition. That was a demolition job that day. But you sort of enjoy it because it's not. You still pick a team, but you enjoy it. You probably enjoy it slightly more because you're not really nervous. Like, but obviously, I'd love to get to if they come over next year. Which, if they keep the game, it's a bit hard in it because obviously it's going to change every year. The schedule changes. You have to have a team that is willing to come over, and you're obviously playing them. But if they do come over, I think the feeling of it, obviously, the guys who've obviously went in 2014 will know the feeling of it, but. The feeling of obviously winning a game now, watching it on TV is like amazing. Going to a game must be breathtaking.
Yeah, I live 5 hours away from the stadium, so I do not go to many games. Let's put it that way. But we've only been to a few recently, and I haven't seen the new stadium yet. But we did make it to the NFC Championship that year in 2016, and that was just that was awesome. I couldn't hear. for like a week. I haven't seen that much passion for the Falcons in a long time. That's why I love your fan base so fucking much, because you guys seem to care more than the people that are here.
Exactly. I was gonna say that in the morning. I should have said that in the morning because I thought the same thing. I was like, I'm glad I found you guys' Twitter, followed and everything. Because I like speaking with guys that actually care. Because all you hear and see here is Matt Ryan needs to go. Matt Ryan.
Negativity, man.
And it'll be because the defense gave like 40 points on Matt Ryan's fault. Like, no, like watch the game, like analyze it, dissect like what's going on. It's not all his fault. Like he has like 0.3 seconds to throw the ball. Like all of that is just like I said. I'm today's my favorite.
I got interviewed by a chap last week. He wanted to speak to a Falcons fan for it's I don't know if it was his dissertation or something for college or whatever. And he actually touched on that, and he said that why the British fans so passionate for the Falcons, and because over in the US, and I think what it boils down to is, and this is what I was saying to him, is that once we sort of adopt a team, be it soccer over here, be it American football over there, then we go all in on that team. We don't sort of float around. We haven't had the franchises where clubs are moving from city to city to city. We sort of go all in on that one team, and that's where all the passion comes from. I mean, like I said, I've followed the Falcons since 1988, which is a fucking long time. And it's just one of those that, I think the franchise thing has a lot to do with it. But I do tend to see that American supporters tend to support players rather than teams. Someone will support Chicago Bulls because of Michael Jordan, and then obviously when he went down to where did he go?
He went to Washington.
Right?
Yeah, they followed him over there rather than sort of still supporting Chicago. So yeah, I think that's the thing with us Brits. We'll just go all in on a team, and we'll just
Apart from them Patriots fans, they've all gone to Bucks over here as well. Definitely.
Yeah, don't worry, they all did it here too, so it's fine.
Man United fans going to City.
I think it's that thing. It's the football fan mentality. Like Tricky's a Spurs fan. I'm a QPR fan. Like we've been brought up with it.
Yeah.
And you sort of you go through, you watch shit, and then there's the odd good moment which you savor.
I'm still waiting for that as a Falcons fan.
I mean, I live right smack dab in the center of Panther country, and I'll be honest with you, it's horrible, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like I can only imagine living in New Orleans is worse. But I mean, it is hilarious to me. Like when they're bad, you don't see the Panther shit anymore. It's gone. And when they're good, it is one of the worst things in the world. When they went 15-1, I saw keep pounding shit everywhere, and it was nauseating. But like they're I guess it's just we don't see that same level of like mass commitment in America, unless you live like right on the stadium or you're a PSL or something. You just don't see it. So it's why, like, hell, I'd rather talk to you guys for an hour and 19 minutes now about than call somebody here, because fuck that. Like I don't want to hear why Matt Ryan should do himself or something. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think going off what James has said as well with the football thing over here, it's like, say we had Portsmouth, obviously the UK guys we know, they dropped to like League Two, but they were still getting the stadium fits 20,000 in. They was in the Premiership getting 20,000. They dropped to League Two, 4th tier football, getting 20,000. They still filled every away end. The passion always stayed between the fans. They dropped from basically nearly out of the football league to the lowest division.
It's a tribal thing, isn't it?
Like, Cal, what about Bury? They went.
Well, yeah, I was a Bury fan since I was 8. I've got a tattoo on me of it. we had 2 promotions, but then promotions was like the best feeling I've ever witnessed. I think
even though you cheated your way to the promotion.
Oh, not the first time, actually. Not the first
time. The second time, under Steve Dale, you did.
But we got the first time, 2011, I think it was. I think we're it was a game against the top team in the division, and we filled the away end. The atmosphere was absolutely fantastic. We scored a 90th minute winner, and we got promoted. It was just that feeling you cannot beat it at all. And I think
that's what I was saying. I think that our tribal instinct of football over here sort of transcends into other sports, and I think that's why the American people, yourself, Greg, and Jelani, are quite surprised with how passionate people like us are over a team that most of us will never ever get the chance to see.
I think for me, it's more confusing why you're so diehard about a team that sucks when you could have picked any other team.
Oh, Greg, mine was very random. I support a quite successful soccer team over here, Manchester City. I don't know if you've heard of them. And then I randomly get lumbered with the Falcons. I don't get that.
I mean, we're going to talk about City because they just fought their way to everything.
Hey, if you went down like we did, if you struggled like we did, you wouldn't blame us for spending money.
Right. My other team is where I was born and bred, and that's in Gillingham. So I was there in 1999 when City won the playoff final, and then bought our best player, and then decided to buy the world. But anyway,
we're loving life now.
I guess that's why I like talking to you guys so much, because living in North Carolina, I'm more questioned of why I'm a Falcons fan than anything else. So I guess I kind of get it to a degree. There's no area connection that makes me be a Falcons fan. I'm just stuck here at this point. I'm not going to let it go. So it's just nice, man.
It's like, again, when I was saying about this chap I got interviewed by Justin, he's in the middle of Arkansas, I think. He's always lived there, and he's a Falcons fan in the Midwest, Rust Belt, fucking hillbilly Tennessee sort of place, and he's a Falcons fan.
Yep.
That's why I was happy to
which is so stupid.
All over because I guess everyone's kind of. I'm literally here. I'm like 25 minutes away from the stadium, so like I don't really. I mean, I see it sometimes here and there. Obviously, Falcons gear, Falcons shirts, Falcons hats, stuff like that. I have friends that fans of the Falcons as well, but I guess I was just so happy to see it transcend pretty much like everywhere. Like he says, all the way in London. And my dad lives there now. I was like, you won't believe me if I ever say there's a Falcons fan like around where he lives now. So it's been really cool, and like I said, to find you guys and talk with you guys because I guess
with the Falcons as well. They're sort of the culture thing as well, because when you flick on like an NFL history, you see prime time. You see Jerry Glanville. You see the uniforms, and it sort of grabs you.
Mm-hmm. But it's not only that culture of Atlanta as well. When you've got, I like my, believe it or not, I like my rap music, and then when you got Outkast, repping Atlanta, people are picking up on that, and that's another reason why, TLC and things like that. All repping a city, you think, oh, fuck me, Outkast, love Outkast. Yeah. Oh my God, they're Atlanta. And then you sort of switch it over to the you're looking at the Atlanta sports, you look at the Braves, the Hawks, Falcons, and so I think that's a big thing as well.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, kind of like that cultural phenomenon, because our I guess not our actors or musicians and all that, they always whether it's a music video or something, they'll name drop maybe the Falcons or a player, or just be wearing the gear and stuff, especially in the 90s and stuff. Even
today, so
too
legit to quit.
Yeah.
I think
Dude,
the prime example of loyalty is a friend of mine. He's a Carlisle supporter who supports the Jets. So all of us who like soccer, they'll know how bad that is. And I've asked him, has he ever thought about bailing on the Jets? And he's gone, I wish I could, but no, I can't.
I think that's the question we've been asked. I think, well, Christian did it the other day when we did that interview with you about if we ever had a franchise in London, which I personally don't agree with. Really, it'd be great for the UK side of it, but I don't agree that we should be taking a team from America and bringing it here. But he was asking if would you support that team? I was just like, absolutely not. I'd go to more games. I would personally love it. I wouldn't want it to happen, but I personally love it because you get to watch more NFL games live. But you'd get a lot of people moving. They'd be like, oh, I'll start supporting these because they're here. But I'll be like, well.
But this is what I was saying earlier. If with the franchises, I think if the Falcons ever did move, like to Phoenix or wherever, then that's not my team anymore. You know, because I'm supporting Atlanta. I'm not the franchise. I'm supporting Atlanta.
Right.
And that's a soccer thing. You know, I wouldn't support Spurs if they moved up to minutes round from where I live, because that doesn't represent who I am. I'm supporting the Atlanta, the city of Atlanta. You know, it's like the Americans with the college game. You know, the college game is huge, obviously, and they do it because the Georgia fans, the Bulldogs or Southern, it's because it's their local team. And I think that's the same with me. If Atlanta moved somewhere else, I wouldn't support the Falcons. Wouldn't support the Phoenix Falcons.
I thought London did have a Dragons.
Because let's say, I don't know, like with the Golden State Warriors last year when Steph Curry went down with his hand injury, a lot of Warriors fans were actually bailing.
I've been here a while. Sorry.
Yeah, you broke up for that, man. What was that?
Yeah, in regards to like Tricky's point earlier, just take the Golden State Warriors example in the NBA when Kevin Durant left or when Steph Curry did his hand in that game against Phoenix. A lot of them started bailing to the Lakers.
Well, fun fact. So I went to Davidson College, which obviously is where Steph went, and blah blah. Yeah. They ran a study. There is a higher population density of Warriors fans right outside of Charlotte than there is anywhere else in the world, except for right next to the stadium, because everybody from Davidson and around the area claims him. Dude, I got Golden State shit upstairs right now just because of Steph. Like, you know, so it's just one of those weird things. But yeah, it's absolutely true. Now, granted, I don't have any loyalty to the NBA. If Steph got traded, I'd start wearing wherever he went next, just because that's all we got. Mm-hmm. But you know, it's just one of those things. So it's cool to hear like why you are a fan of who you are. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know, I personally, if the Falcons moved, that really wouldn't change anything for me at all. I'd just I'd be a whatever Falcons fan at that point. You know, it's just interesting.
It was actually because of Davidson I supported Steph, believe it or not. I saw him in the NCAA finals.
Mm-hmm.
So when he got drafted to the Warriors, I started supporting them because Steph went there. I supported him ever since. But even if he moved now, I'd support the Warriors because they're the reason I got to the NBA.
Right. See, whereas me, I'd follow Steph because that's my college connection.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't there when he was there, but like my freshman year was the NBA lockout. So on my first day of class, I'm walking into the building, he's walking out, and I just like stopped and did like one of those. And it still dumbfounds me to this day. That dude is not very tall. Like I was like, oh crap, you know.
I think going on to like obviously us doing this account thing. A few people said we have like a group chat just for UK fans, and I think a lot of people have said like there's only like 40 of us in there, and there is a lot more that could be in there, etc. But like a lot of them have said like I didn't even know there was like even this many in the whole country, and it's like a small community now. It's like if we get, even if the Falcons ain't here next year if we all get tickets, a lot of us get tickets for the same game, we'll all go meet up in London and we'll do something. And it is a great feeling, everyone's part of it, and I think
this is the thing. I've been on Twitter for 10 years, and Falcons fan for donkey's years. And it's only really the last sort of 12 months that I've really connected with any other supporters of the team. Purely by chance, by coming across your Twitter account and then sort of connecting with you guys and then everyone else. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It's built up a little community, I know that I could probably have somehow connected with maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but didn't really know how to. So this is sort of brought it all together. I mean, it's what? Stupid o'clock at night, and I'm talking American football, a group of people that a year ago I would never have even thought about talking to.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think also, like in the group chat, it is fun. It is a laugh. Nothing's too serious. Like how many times do people put in like Dirk out, trade for Darnold, things like that in the group, and people just have a joke about it.
I mean, that's the one thing. Myself and Mark, we're not serious people. I like to talk football. I don't profess to be a font of all knowledge. I know a little bit. I know nothing about the college game. I know nothing about players being coming up into the next draft, apart from the odd name that gets thrown around here or there. But I enjoy being on that little group because it's just silliness. There'll be the serious conversations and I'll just throw a bomb in just to be stupid. Same with Mark, and I think that's the sort of thing I enjoy. You can't be serious all the time. And,
I agree.
That.
It's like me and Danny, who created obviously the account. We created the account to connect with. We want like 200 followers, might have been all right, just to get a few faces in England or a few people to speak to. And obviously, it blew up so much. And we spoke to 2 Falcons players. Tricky came on the other day and spoke to Chuck. We didn't expect that. We didn't even think about that. But it's such obviously a good feeling, obviously, speaking to players, but even the community we've sort of created, I think it's good for us. And me and Danny, literally, we've only been Falcons fans for 2 years. And I think you can tell by the account, I think we're as passionate as anyone who's been, even Tricky, like Tricky's obviously, it's about 100 years in it now, I think. But it's a community, and I think we're glad we've done it, and I think other people are, and it's just a good feeling. And we're all Falcons fans, and we're all basically one family, and we basically cry together or get angry together, joke together, and I think it's just a good thing. Like Greg's like obviously from America, and he's like, God, I wouldn't even think about speaking to anyone like just like generally, but now it's like if we came over, it would just be like a normal chat, like you'd just be mates, like generally speaking. It's not awkward or anything, but
yeah. No,
I think it's a great thing.
Don't let the negativity from America pull you guys down, man. Most of the Falcons fans here, don't let it get to you.
And I'd just like to say, I haven't been a supporter for 100 years because the Falcons are only 54 years old.
Anyway, obviously Saints week or Aints week next. Well, this week, next week, whenever the fuck it is. Obviously, we'll just do a quick prediction because if we don't do a show this week, we've obviously just done this. I know we only did it literally 1 week ago, but we might as well do it again.
1 hour 34 minutes.
Long in it, so we'll wrap it up in the next minute or so. But quick prediction next week:
50 points, and we blow Taysom Hill out of the game.
I'll take it. I think I'll take that one.
He's rushing 2 touchdowns today, isn't he?
Yeah, he's thrown for like 10 yards or something ridiculous.
62 yards, 8 of 15, 1 interception.
I've got to say, the Denver quarterback's having a absolute shocker.
He's not a quarterback.
No,
He did play in college, though.
He was a college wide receiver.
He's a wide receiver.
Yeah, he was converted to wide receiver, so he's not played a snap of quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah,
and that was he played in high school or college, and that was about 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, last time he played quarterback was like 2017 for Wake Forest. I think that's in the North Carolina region, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wake Forest is right in the middle of the triad. They're part of the big rivalry between them, UNC, Duke, all those.
Tim Duncan went there, didn't he?
Who?
Tim Duncan, the NBA player who went first overall in 97 or something like that.
Yep, San Antonio. Yep.
Kendall Hilton has gone for one completion from 9 attempts for 13 yards, 2 interceptions.
Wow.
My biggest prediction for the game next week is that we're going to hear about Taysom Hill being a gadget quarterback for 3/4 of the fucking game, and like if the announcers don't pass out from coming all over themselves about it, then I'll be surprised. To be honest. Honestly, I don't think they're going to get run through the mud twice. I mean, I really think it's going to be a closer one. I'd say like 24-21. I refuse to say the Saints are going to win even when they do. So
it depends what defense turn up for us. I think it was like night and day. The D from the Saints game to this game, and hopefully our offensive line can hold up as well, and actually try and keep Matt upright a little bit.
You know what? As I got today's prediction wrong, I'll happily say I'll say the Falcons are going to lose again. Because I was right. Hey, I was wrong this week. Hopefully, I'll be wrong again next week.
I actually had money on the Falcons to win this week.
You are very brave, Tricky.
I actually had money on them. I got paid out early. I was quite pleased with that. I think we'll lose next week.
I'm going 27-20 New Orleans.
I think we'll be lucky to get double figures.
I genuinely believe it'll be close, but I reckon the Saints will win. And I'm saying they're hoping I'm wrong.
Oh, God, yes, I might.
Well, I think it'll be obviously a close game, but hopefully a win. But end of the day, we won this week and we absolutely blew the Raiders apart, and I can't complain with today's game in any way, shape or form. Apart from Cotter, but we'll pass on that for now. But thank you everyone for coming on. And at nearly an hour and 40, and he's absolutely flew by. Thanks for watching and everyone coming on, and thanks guys for participating again, and fuck the Saints.
Yeah, and fuck the Saints.
Fuck the Saints.
To the regiment.
Catch you boys later.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Take it easy.